What the fuck is Core Keeper? I don't even know what Core Keeper is. It's got 50,000 people playing this?
Stay firmly in place. Because of this, I never felt as if I was completely at a loss for what to do ever. I never just idled away at my base, or at least that's what I would have said if I didn't get very distracted at times. See, there was a time on my first save file where I was so invested in making my house look cool that I put everything on halt just to do that full time. All of my friends sped ahead of me on their own separate save files, leaving me clear in the dust. And the only thing that made me continue again was food items and brewing a bat and promptly switch back to a melee weapon, for instance.
Wow.
Skill points can also be earned to increase your...
Well, maybe this is good. I don't know. Like, it seems like the kind of game that I would want to play, like, off stream. It does seem interesting. It's crazy because I didn't even know this game existed. That's what's so nuts about some of these games. Like, they'll come out of fucking nowhere. I didn't even know this was a thing. Soda's playing it as well? Yeah, I had no idea. Wow. Okay, it's amazing. Yeah, check the trailer. It seems popular. It does. So it's a giant slime that you have to, like... Wow. So then you have to... This is... Okay. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'll be honest. I actually think that's kind of cool. And this is just a game. Holy fuck, man. They're huge? Yeah. Look at this. And it actually looks like they're kind of... Like, with this one, for example, this one seems like it's kind of hard. Like, this is some, like, Link to the Past shit. It's a good game. Yeah, as I said, I had no idea that this game even existed, man. Just a game? Yeah, this one was my first death. Wow. Well, maybe I should try this game out, man. I should. It's annoying as fuck on that one. Yeah. And so it's co-op and everything too, is that right? Yeah. So, like, what type of experience is it? Is it a game like, is it like Valheim, kind of? It's like Terraria. I never played Terraria or Stardew Valley. Wow, yeah, I have no idea then. And so, is it like are there other players that you interact with, or is it your own separate save file that you can have friends that are part of? Are there like, it's not like servers, right? It's your own world. Okay, so you can play with it. Okay. Valheim game systems plus Link to the Past gameplay. If that's actually true, I would immediately play this fucking game. Like, you guys might not know this. I went super hard in Valheim. Like, I played through the entire game 2 times. I loved it. So, yeah. Gather materials, upgrade your shit, and kill bosses? Yeah, maybe this actually should be something I should play. Yeah, I mean, if 50,000 people are playing it and the player base is going up every day, I actually might try this out. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, it's on sale too? Fuck, man. Yeah, I had no idea about this game. I had literally no clue whatsoever. This is insane. This is a Carnage thoughts on the game. Actually, I'm gonna just watch this video. I want to watch this video and know about it. Because I'm actually really curious now. Now I want to know.
Core Keeper really upended my opinion on this genre when I first discovered it more than a year.
Yeah, because like I thought this was a genre for girls. Like, because I look at a game like this and it's about like, and there's a garden in the game. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. Let's go back to the dragon with like no head that's like still fighting you. Sure.
ago. I am very picky about my survival crafting games, so picture my surprise when I began a playthrough and, in what felt like a blink, I had carved out a giant cave, made a multi-bedroom estate, had a thriving farmland, and the claimed lives of 3 major bosses under my belt. Yep, it's one of those.
This is awesome. What the fuck? Look at this. And look at me.
This is far from my first video on this game, and while I do really love Core Keeper, I haven't been afraid to be critical when I needed to be. Much of the issues I've brought up in past videos, however, have been addressed in the 1.0. Because I'm a lot more comfortable with where the game is now than at launch, I'll let you know that this video is now sponsored by Fireshine Games, as the publisher for Core Keeper. But
I don't care, we were gonna watch the trailer anyway.
The video will be uninformative, as I only accept sponsors from games that I actually play. Turning down that Raid Shadow Legends money was tough, believe me. Core Keeper is available on Game Pass, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and of course, Steam. With all of that out of the way, let me give you the rundown on the gameplay loop, including some stuff that's new to the 1.0 version, as well as why it stands out amongst a very competitive genre.
Okay. Lol, Raid Shadow Legends again?
It's hard to point to any one thing and say, that's the reason Core Keeper works so well. I could talk about how comprehensive its progression is, I could talk about its amazing house customization, or its diverse biomes, or its snappy combat, so I will. What exactly do you even do in this game? Put simply, you awaken in an underground world with nothing but a handful of supplies. Despite having almost nothing to your name, it doesn't take long before you start unraveling the mining and base building progression loop you've come to love from the survival crafting genre. Blocks are quickly done away with at first, even without a pickaxe,
this
though
is
you'll
great.
get one very soon. Your goals in Core Keeper are mostly self-made, but it does give you a bit more direction than you might expect, considering you spawn directly next to the titular core, which lets you craft special items to locate the game's bosses.
So this is a lot like Valheim, it seems.
Bosses act as progression milestones that, upon defeat, let you access new continents.
Yeah, this feels a lot like Valheim.
Housing items, the works. Despite the breadth of freedom the player is given, there's always a tangible goal that keeps you from feeling directionless, which is an important design choice for most games, but especially for survival crafting.
Yeah, no doubt.
Unlike my ex, the goalposts in Core Keeper stay firmly in place. Because of this, I never felt as if I was completely at a loss for what to do ever. I never just idled away at my base, or at least that's what I would have said if I didn't get very distracted at times. See, there was a time on my first save file where I was so invested in making my house look cool that I put everything on halt just to do that full time. All of my friends sped ahead of me on their own separate save files, leaving me clear in the dust. And the only thing that made me continue again was the desire to unlock a teleporter for my backyard. I'm sure you've had an experience that relates to this.
Are the worlds procedurally generated, or is it the same world? How does this work? Okay, so the worlds are procedurally generated, but they have the same biomes in this. So it's basically like Valheim, right? Where it's like it's like you're gonna have plains areas, you're gonna have mistlands areas. Yes, okay, all right, got it.
Jesus, unlocking that thing for the first time.
Terraria, never played Terraria, never played Stardew Valley. I always thought they were for girls.
Was a giant treat.
Never
if you take
cared.
your eyes off another player in your Core Keeper worlds for merely a moment, you'll probably find them making a place to live, and it's understandable. Tile sets and decorations are very fun to tinker with. Even people in the early game will be able to make different kinds of floor and wall patterns. You can even use paint brushes to change palettes on sprites. Some things like furniture take on whole new designs when painted. It's really cool. Also, there's this thing that lets you punch holes in the ceiling so you can decide exactly where you want the lighting from the surface to be.
Wait,
no
what?
idea how it works practically, but aesthetically, it's a perfect way to top off your designs and have the light just shine in the exact part of the room you really want to look nice and stuff. It's just, it's cool.
That is interesting.
By the way, that beach house idea I mentioned earlier is not as relaxing as it sounds. The enemies here are very tough. While we're on the subject of enemies, I should tell you that on the combat front, Core Keeper feels good. Positioning is key, but perhaps
See, like,
more...
to me, that's what matters the most, right? Is like, is combat good? If yes, then good game. If no, then bad game. Like that, like Valheim's combat was extremely basic, but the combat felt very good.
important to your survival is preparation. You can't just charge in swords blazing for some of these fights. Armor is important, of course, but so is taking food items and brewing a couple of health potions to top yourself off. The best food items
I think that's one of the hardest things that games like this have. Because, like, I'm the kind of guy, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go in there man-moded, I'm just gonna go in there with my bow, half health, kill the boss, I just won't get hit, it's done, right? And so it's like, how do you make it to where, like, because in Valheim, I never really felt the need to do that. I would actually fully prepare for the bosses and, like, be ready for them. But I don't know. Yeah, this is, I'm
some
very...
hardy buffs that can last for minutes. There's thousands of different food recipes in this game, by the way. Like, I've yet to put 2 ingredients in the food cauldron that didn't result in some unique item. Preparation doesn't just come in the form of equipment and buffs, though. If you've made an arena in Terraria, you'll know it never hurts to carve out a giant area for yourself before you take on a big enemy. Before fighting the first major boss, for example, I not only made a lot of room for a fight to commence, but carefully scooped up as much slime as I could to prevent my character from getting slowed mid-fight.
So you're telling me that, like, you can go into this cave, you discover where the boss is, then you terraform the cave to become the arena that you fight the boss in?
Even outside of combat, weapons have unique uses, like this mallet that can clear multiple walls of blocks at once, or this projectile weapon that can shred walls. New to 1.0 are the Mage and Necromancer playstyles, which use staffs and summoning books respectively. These new weapon types start spawning right away, so you don't have to wait until later to try out the new gear. Personally, I liked the summoning books since you're able to juggle them with other weapons, even if you aren't going for a summoning archetype. You
I
can
wonder
spawn
what I
a
would
bat
want to play.
and promptly switch back to a melee weapon.
I think
for
melee.
instance.
I think
Skill
mage.
points can also be earned to increase your weapon attack speed as well as
Like, in a
practically
game like this, I think mage is going to be OP.
every other feature
Warrior?
of the game,
I bet it would
like
suck.
fishing, farming, and cooking. You'll have to make some interesting decisions, especially regarding combat-related skill trees, since some of these enemies are truly vicious, like these giant grubs that seek out and destroy
Mana issue
your
early
torches.
game?
Now, if a game
that's
taking place
playing a mage.
primarily underground sounds like an uninteresting setting to you, with nothing but dirt-laden caves and the occasional
Seems
puddle,
like that's not
you
the
can
case,
lay those
right?
worries to rest. As you've seen from some of the footage and my scripts so far, Core Keeper is packed with multiple biomes that have culminated over its early access period. From the shimmering green-matted Azeus wilderness to the desolate and dark entrenched Forgotten Ruins, you won't be starved for adventure by any means. Variety extends beyond just looks.
So you
Hive area,
you
for
level up
instance,
skills because this person just got a +1 to ranged combat. Can you, for example, play as a warrior archetype and then use bow and arrow? Like how much variation is there? You can? Okay.
spikes, acid pools, and even these centipede
You can do whatever you want.
that phase through walls. The dirt biome is thick with mushroom men and submerged in slime, including the king slime of Terraria fame. Nice. In addition, there's also
So you can see that this boss is going to show up beforehand, and then you can build and, like, prepare to fight this guy.
areas for each main biome. These are usually surrounded by unbreakable walls, requiring you to engage it in a more traditional dungeon delving way, which is a nice break from the open-ended exploration. New to 1.0 is an endgame biome that I won't spoil here, but just know you will have to be on top of your preparation game in all the ways we talked about earlier, and more.
Wait, how many people can play this shit at the same time? That was like 6 people, 7 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 people? You have 8 players in this? Holy shit!
There's no way around it. Core Keeper is a gorgeous game. Its pixel-built characters are adorable. Its biomes are lavish and rife with detail, sometimes unnervingly so. The cherry on top is the reflection and bloom effects. It's really easy for a game to have lighting that doesn't feel consistent with its own art style, especially pixelated art styles.
A lot of Unreal 5 games have that too.
Here. What's in it for you in regards to these biomes? As in, why would you go to these places? Are you really delving through a living hive nest just to get a cool lampshade for your base? No. That's only like a fourth of the reason. There's no place in Core Keeper you'll go spelunking and come back empty-handed. There's always gear, consumables, and, on rare occasions, even permanent upgrades like increased max health for your character. The first time I came across one of these upgrades, I was super stoked because I feel like a lot of the times games with big worlds can very quickly become reduced to just having 3 different collectibles or things to look for. Little moments like this that surprised me are the norm, not the exception in Core Keeper. In addition, there's also...
Yeah, there was actually like kind of like one of those minor things, like Starfield had that, where like occasionally when you would raid a base, you would get something that would increase your maximum like carry weight or like your maximum health by like 10. I actually thought that was really good that Starfield had that. One of the only good things that came out of that game.
The giant bosses known as Titans that give you unique powers when you defeat them. Just be sure to not use these at your home because it can end badly. I briefly touched on this earlier, but I feel it bears repeating. I never had a moment where I was in the dark about what to do next in Core Keeper, or how I could improve my home. This genre has games I adore, but I can't tell you the amount of times I am playing one of these things and I am at a loss for a pivotal ingredient to something and couldn't get it unless I consulted a wiki. I could count on one hand the amount of times I had to do that in Core Keeper, and that was before 1.0. The cohesion extends to players just joining your world.
That's one of the biggest weaknesses that games like this have, is that they kind of filter casual players when you have something that's like not intuitive and then people can't figure out like how to get it. It's like such a hard like game design balance to reach.
Even if someone joins after you've beaten some of the main bosses, it won't take long for them to feel caught up to speed on everything, as long as they have just
it's like, I don't know about you guys, but like maybe this is like the boomer in me, but like whenever I see like a legendary, like a big chest after a boss, and there's like an item with like an orange border, a purple border, like special like bars of gold and like a ring, I'm like, oh. You know,
a survival crafting game experience. By the way, electrical systems and automation are usually something I avoid when it comes to these kinds of games, but Core Keeper has opened my eyes. It was a painless process to set up some nice light bulbs in my house or get a drill going so I can start harvesting as much ore as possible. I'm sure people really experienced with redstone and the like can make some crazy contraptions and auto farms or whatever. I'm not here to go nuts with any of that. I am but a humble keeper, but the option is definitely there for those who want to go all in.
Damn.
Core Keeper is a blessing. Its locales are teeming with life and mechanics. Its settlements, both player-made and found, are fascinating. And to top it all off, it's playable with 7 other people. Everything I mentioned prior is bolstered by the inclusion of a friend or 3. My girlfriend has yet to give the game a try, which means I'm able to arrange my house in any way I'd like. If the red dresser is gone from this room before the video is over, you'll know she found it. Like a new character in its world, it manages to carve out a thriving spot for itself despite the odds. And it's really nice seeing this project get off the ground. Memories are made in this game plain and simple, whether it's seeing ore that was precious to you moments ago becomes something you've completely automated, running away from a horde of cavelings with your friends, or putting down the finishing touches on your perfect dream home. It just doesn't get better, man. Core Keeper could comfortably retire as a complete package now, but that is not the plan, as more updates are on the way for the foreseeable future. One of the hardest parts about writing this video was having to pull myself away from the game to continue making this, and now that I've put the finishing touches on this video, I think I'm just gonna chill for a bit and keep cores on my Steam Deck while laying down. Go ahead and click the link in the description to check out the game. Thank you so much to Fireshine for sponsoring this video.
This is crazy.
It was amazing being able to do this. I hope you all enjoy the game. Thanks so much to you guys. And have a wonderful night. Booba.
Good one. Yeah, it's on Steam Deck. It's on sale too. Yeah, I'll watch the Co-Carnage video about this, because like, did this convince you to play? Did this convince me to play the game? No. I was already convinced before I watched the video I was going to play it. So the answer to that is actually no. But yeah, I had already decided, like, I think I'm going to try this one out, right? For sure. And check out Terraria too. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I think this game looks awesome. Yeah, like this is so cool. Off streamer, no, I don't know. I'll watch this is a very, very short video about it. And I'll link you guys his video too. Terraria is the same game, but in 2D. Really, yeah, I don't really like 2D games as much as 3D games, and I think that's maybe the reason. I always thought Terraria was like two-dimensional Minecraft. Like, that was my understanding of it, but I never really played it at all. Okay, here we go. Let's look at this.
Thoughts video, this time the full thoughts video.
Yeah.
on Core Keeper 1.0
Okay.
full release. Now, I say it's a full thoughts video, but I haven't beaten it yet. But honestly, at this point, I don't need to, because I know enough about this game to make this thoughts video, because, to put it bluntly, Core Keeper is awesome. And I strongly recommend it. What is
that
Core
was
Keeper?
fast.
Core Keeper is a Terraria-like, or what I like to call a sandbox boss rush game. What do I mean by that? Well, normally a boss rush is a game where you just go after the bosses one after the other.
Yeah.
And it's normally used in the context of a game being shorter or there not being gameplay between the bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, weirdly enough, I'm using that word in this context as well, because honestly, after really thinking about it, I feel games like Terraria, Valheim, Core Keeper, even Minecraft arguably, need a better name for their genres, because they are all at heart the same thing. They're this same kind of loop. One that
I feel like is the game like this, because like in Valheim, you can fight the boss usually kind of early, but like you're not going to be able to kill it. So it's like each boss is kind of like a benchmark, and then you figure out, it's like each boss is a number, right? And the number is 33. And like, how do you get to the number 33? Like, do you do it 11 times 3, 30 plus 3? Like, basically, they put a challenge out there, and then it's up to the player to decide how they want to solve the challenge. Is this kind of how this game works? I don't really understand. Yes.
Love. And that I wish we had many more
because
games
the bosses set
like
the
it.
benchmarks.
And what that loop is it is a sandbox boss rush. What do I mean by that? Your only goal in Core Keeper or Terraria or Valheim is to kill the next boss.
That's right.
That is your goal. It is to kill the next boss.
Everything else is in service to that.
However, how to kill him and how to get to him is entirely up to you in a complete sandbox environment. So unlike most games, which, take you to a boss and then you beat it, and take you to a boss and then you beat it, or a boss rush game, which is just boss, 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 boss.
Yeah.
This game is sandbox, then a boss, then sandbox, then a boss, then sandbox, then a boss.
That's exactly the way I felt about Valheim.
You get to the end of the game, just like Terraria, just like Valheim, just like all these games. So, what is Core Keeper? It is the next iteration of the sandbox box rush. It is a Terraria-like. It is a well-defined, well-voiced, well-fingerprinted version of a top-down sandbox game where you have tons of biomes to explore, tons of tiers of items to work through. You've got pets, magic, ranged, melee. You've got a variety of different things you can build in your base. You've got a whole base building mechanic. You've got tons and tons and tons of things to sandbox and play and do, even music and complete cosmetic stuff, all while you fight through this very well-defined kind of alley of bosses. We have, slime bosses, dragon bosses, fish bosses, giant rock bosses, demon bosses, all the bosses, and they all are unique fights, generally involving unique summons. They're all over a giant world that you need to find and sandbox your way through to explore.
Yeah.
It is a large, well-made, excellent game that I strongly recommend. I currently am on my third playthrough. I currently have 2 playthroughs going, one on stream and one with my kid Rowan, and I've been having a great time in both runs, playing different types of characters, exploring our different worlds.
Does that fishing? Yeah, I think it does, actually.
Yeah, that's really about it. Kind of a short thoughts video, but Core Keeper is the world's next big Terraria-like, and it is everything you would expect from that genre name in terms of being on the same quality level, delivering that same fun, giant building cumulative experience, and yeah, it's great. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it a fraction as much as I have been. I am going to go back and keep playing right now. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
What a shock. I didn't think I would log on today and find a new game that I'd be excited for. There's the video right there. That's awesome. Yeah, that's... Wow. Should play Terraria? Maybe, I don't know. Like, I would try this one out myself. I just bought it. Yeah, what the fuck? This looks really good. Play it on stream so we can help. So, like, okay, here's a question that I have. I'm assuming that at the beginning of the game, you pick archetypes. Maybe? Or do you just simply, like, how, like, let's say I'm playing, you don't. You're just simply an adventurer, and then they don't matter. Okay. So you just go in and you choose what you want to use. So it, like, the thing is, like, for example, I remember whenever I played Enshrouded, I was like, I want to be a warrior. And then I played mage, and I said, I am stupid for even thinking that warrior is good. And so I immediately respec over. And so it's more like Valheim? Yeah, okay, so then you can just level up new weapons and try that instead. Okay, got it. You pick up a sword and become a warrior. Got it. Understood. Okay, this is fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm going to play this. Yeah, I'm absolutely going to play this. Not any question. Yeah, another on Game Pass W. How is it single player? It seems like it's optional multiplayer like Valheim. And I'm assuming probably like what mobs and everything scales up whenever there's like other players in the same general area, right? It's like a boss is in combat with 2 players. The boss probably 2x's his health, and like maybe a couple of mechanics work a little bit differently. Things like that. Yeah, it's about what I expect. Okay, that's crazy. Let me look at the graph for it right now. SteamDB. Let's see if I can find it. Core Keeper. Oh my god. Wow. And this is with, they had the free weekend, and this is the Steam release, and this is whenever it left early access, and it's just been going up. I mean, this is definitely a weekend buff, right? But still, that's nuts. And it's like, what, $15? Something like that? That's cheap as fuck, man. Especially if it's on Game Pass. Oh my god. That's so cool. That's consistent as fuck? Yeah, that's insane. People are still playing Wukong too? Yeah, well, I mean, of course, right? I'm just saying, like, in general, like, that's really impressive to me. It's weird because, like, I've spent... I feel like, I don't know if I'm like the only person that's like this, but I feel like because I was a WoW player for so long, that my entire experience playing games is like kind of, it's like shaded by World of Warcraft. Like everything that I've done and played has all been WoW. So I've never really had an experience playing anything else really besides that. So I missed out on like entire genres. I missed out on like basically 15 years of games I didn't play, minus like 5 games. That was about it, because all I was doing was playing WoW, which it's a little sad. No, it is, but I had a lot of fun playing WoW. I loved it. It was great. But like now, that's why I'm trying to go back and play all of these games and stuff, right? So much time in the dark. Yeah, exactly. That's why, like, for me, you guys, this is why, this is why the Asmongold Dark Souls 1 playthrough was so popular. Like, at its time, it had 35,000 viewers. Which is fucking insane, by the way. For, like, back then, everybody watched this. And the reason why is that this stream was the equivalent of watching a caveman discover fire. Like, it was like, you didn't even know it. Because, like, I had basically never played any other video game besides World of Warcraft pretty much ever. So I'm, like, running around, and people are just watching this. Because I was actually, like, this is back whenever I was good at WoW. Look at this. It's embarrassing. Yes, a furtive pygmy discovering fire. Exactly. Oh, my fucking god. Not pretending. Look at it. Help him, McCool. Quitter. Backstab, unequip all armor to roll faster. People are all giving their advice. Like, I couldn't even figure out anything in the game. I couldn't figure out... It was like all these little things. Like, I couldn't figure out how ladders would work. I couldn't figure out how to, like, how to move, how to dodge. It was incredible how bad I was. You look healthier now, color in your cheeks? So I don't know. I think it's probably just the different lighting. Look at that. I just died. Yeah. Straight up caveman rediscovering fire. And so that's the way I feel with a lot of games, man. So was WoW your first ever game? No, I was a variety gamer until Halo came out, and then I only played Halo, and then Halo 2 came out, and then I only played Halo 2, and then I played only WoW, and now, I mean, you guys have seen that progression yourself at this point, right? Like, that was it. Like, because I only play, like, I played Halo 2 every single day, all day. I love the game, man. What possessed you to try Dark Souls at the time? The reason why I started playing Dark Souls is because BFA was dying. It was like a boring game. Actually, no, I think it was during Legion. I don't remember exactly. But like, basically, WoW had started to, it had started to fall off, and I could see that, like, all the content that I was doing was like really boring, and I could see also that my viewers were, like, I was hitting a ceiling on my stream, and I wasn't doing it in a way that I enjoyed. And so I was like really trying to like kind of hold on to like a WoW focused audience. But the truth is that I really just like streaming. Like, I like streaming games that I enjoy, but that's really about, I mean, that's about it, right? I like streaming, talking, hanging out, stuff like that. That's what's really fun and good for me. You know, so for me, I felt like WoW was kind of holding my stream back. And also a lot of the viewers from WoW were weird. Like, WoW viewers on Twitch have always been some of like the weirdest viewers because, and also they're like some of the oldest Twitch viewers. So they have like they have like the boomer bat chest, like unironic, like weird opinions about stuff. And I never really liked that audience of people. I always thought that they were losers. And so whenever I finally started playing other games, like, it attracted another audience of losers, especially like, you know, Dark Souls has like people that love getting mad about that stuff. But otherwise, yeah, it's usually Horde players. Yeah, just like weird people. Like, they'll, I don't know, like the WoW player brain is, I mean, it should be studied. You know, it really should be studied because there's something that's profoundly different about the brain of a WoW player.